Okay, good morning. I'd like to talk to you a little bit today about depth of field again, and I'm getting some real good questions, which I really appreciate. Most of you have what are called point-and-shoot cameras. This is a point-and-shoot camera right here. It's a Nikon Coolpix 5200. It has lots of resolution. It has a really nice zoom lens, but like yours, it has mostly automatic features, so it's a little hard to control the lens and the aperture to get this depth of field that I'm talking about. The goal of the assignments recently has been to get what's called a very shallow depth of field. Okay, so just one part of the picture is in focus and the background's out of focus and nicely blurred. So I'm getting questions, well, what if I don't have a camera that I can set all the controls real easily on? What do I do? Well, it's pretty simple, okay? Let me turn my camera on, all right? And the first thing you want to do is you want to zoom that lens out as far as possible, okay? You want that lens to be zoomed out. You want to be on full telephoto, and that's going to help right away because telephoto lenses tend, by their nature, to have a very shallow depth of field. Okay, they tend to focus on just one part of your picture, and then everything behind that part is out of focus. Okay, so that's the first thing you want to do is set the camera to telephoto, maximum telephoto. That's going to help a lot. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to get as close to the main part of your subject as possible. So in particular, you're taking pictures of a person, you're trying to do a neat outdoor portrait or something, or your dog or your cat or your child, get close. So put the telephoto out as far as you can and then get as close as you can. Now, depending on your camera, the ability to get close is going to be different from camera to camera. By close, I mean usually from like 3 to 7 feet. Most cameras aren't going to focus any closer than about 3 feet, all right? Many will not focus much closer than about 7 feet, okay? So depending on your camera, you're going to need to get as close as you can, probably be in the 3 to 7 foot range, and make sure the person's face or the animal, whatever, is in focus. Make sure the target of the picture, what you really want to have, the main subject matter, make sure that's in focus, okay? So zoom in, get close, take your picture. I guarantee you the background will be out of focus. Now there are a couple other ways to trick your camera into also making the background out of focus. And one thing is if you use a very fast shutter speed, if you can set your shutter speed, or if you have a program mode for sports, all right, that means it's going to do a fast shutter speed. By fast, it's like a 500th of a second or 1,000th of a second, or some cameras go to 2,000ths of a second. It means the shutter is only letting light in. I mean, not even that slow. That's pretty slow, okay? So by having the fastest shutter speed, and the numbers have to be large, 500, 1,000, 2,000, that automatically opens the diameter of your lens, opens the aperture up as wide as possible. And the nature of lenses, lets in as much light as possible. The nature of lenses is that the wider the amount of light is coming in, the wider the aperture, the more out of focus the lens is in general, okay? So it'll focus on the one spot you want, and then everything else will be out of focus. So you can trick your camera by using a really high shutter speed, if you set that, or set it on program mode for sports, and that helps. And then the other two tricks are get as close as possible and zoom out, have the lens as long as possible, okay? You can tell, make it telephoto, make it like you're looking through binoculars, all right? So those mechanisms will all kind of fool the camera into creating the depth of field effect that you want. You're looking for out of focus background, in focus exactly what the main subject of the picture is. And that creates that kind of startling effect where the main subject sort of pops out at you because the background is out of focus. And sometimes your background can get really pretty. If there's leaves and light coming down through the leaves, you get some really nice effects, okay, or lake water, that kind of thing. So I think many, many good photographs, you don't want everything in focus. You probably always thought, yeah, I need to have everything in focus. No, you only want to focus your main part of the picture, the part you really want the viewer to be looking at. Okay, that pops that part out if the background's out of focus. Okay, I think that pretty much covers it, so I will stop now.